This is every fight to make after UFC 309, Jones versus Miocic. I got every fighter from the main card and some preliminary guys on this video as well, but I'm matching everyone on the main card, other than Araujo and Silva. But everyone else that's important, that needs to get a fight, I've booked all of them, and I've potentially matched them up against sick matchups and realistic matchup as well. We'll start away with the main event. Jon Jones won against Stipe Miocic. Good performance from Jon Jones, 6 spinning back at KO. Good win, but it was old man Stipe. This is what was supposed to happen. I know some people made up shit Stipe's gonna get him. No, it was realistically, it was obvious to pick Jon Jones. I picked Jon Jones to win by round 2 TKO with ground and pound. And he almost nearly got there in round 1. So I did pretty good in the prediction there. But I'm not really wow, I picked Jones. I'm not gonna get any praise for picking Jones. It was obvious. But his next opponent should be Tom Aspinall. It's just obvious at this point. I know Jones doesn't want this fight. Everyone else wants it. Aspinall wants it. UFC want it. Dana White's saying, unless Pereira and Jones beg to him, basically, then he'll maybe think about making it, but you got to do the Aspinall fight. Pereira's got to deal with Ankalaev first, which is an if. We'll see if he beats him. I think he will, but, that's a fight that needs to happen. That's another fight people want to see. So do that. And then, Aspinall versus Jones. Just give Jones a big payday, man. I get it'll be a lot, but this is one of the biggest fights you can do, and the UFC cannot fumble on this. Jones didn't retire, but he's saying, he'll easily retire if he doesn't get the Pereira fighter, doesn't get what he wants. So I say you just give him big payday, have this fight happen, stack this card when this does happen, and it will go, I think, over 1 million pay-per-view buys. I'm comfortably saying that now. I think it will. I think it will go over 1 million. 1.1 million, I can see it. This is gonna do a lot. And this is a massive fight. 50-50. It's a very close fight. Jon Jones can definitely win this, but I would go for Tom Aspinall. I might make a whole prediction video for that. Let me know if you want it, but yeah, I think Aspinall wins. I officially think so. But it's closer. I thought it was 70-30 before this fight. Now I'm kind of thinking, I think it raises up after Jones' performance there. I still don't think he beats Aspinall. I think Jones showed a lot of openings against Stipe. I know every fighter does. You can't be perfect, but Aspinall has openings. He leaves his chin up, but stylistically, I feel like Aspinall can land and Jones isn't going to take it. And if he does, I think there'll be some damage caused. But I don't think he will. I think Aspinall's going to lay him out in the first. But I think that this is the fight you do. Jones versus Aspinall regardless. It's just the biggest fight you can do right now. Everyone wants it. Yeah, the Pereira fight's big, and don't get me wrong, if Pereira beats Ankalaev and he wants to move up to heavyweight, either of these fights, the winner of this will be huge. Pereira-Jones is huge. Pereira-Aspinall is huge. Either way, this is a huge fight. Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. This is what you do. It's obvious. We move on. Charles Oliveira won in the co-main event against Michael Chandler. Good performance from Charles Oliveira. He needed this win. He just did. Or else, if he'd lost this fight, he'd kind of be out that conversation of a title. Realistically, he'd be dropped down at number 5 or 6, I think. Although he did beat Poirier and Gaethje. Losing to Chandler is just not good. So he did get the win, thank goodness. And I think his next opponent should be now. I know he's saying Arman Sarukian, Makhachev winner. Give me that title shot. Now, if Makhachev wins, no. Let me phrase it this way. If Arman Sarukian beats Makhachev, and Makhachev's injured and can't really get a trilogy going, fine. Charles versus Arman for the belt. The rematch can be a thing. if Makhachev's hurt or just isn't ready, like let's say Armin KOs him, then yeah, this is what you can do. And Charles can get his title shot. But if Makhachev wins, do you think Makhachev will look at, should I fight? Well, if it happens, Shavkat Rakhmanov's the welterweight champion. I could look at double champ status. Or should I rematch Charles Oliveira, who pulled out recently before me? Pulled out against me before. And Makhachev has never really been interested in a rematch. And the first fight was dominant. Just think that. Will you look at a title defense again against Charles, which doesn't really... I mean, it's a great win if he gets it again, but I mean, he already got that. Or Shavkat Rakhmonov, the welterweight champ, let's say. You know? What would you look at more? I think he'll look at a double champ status fight more. So Charles, unless Armin wins, I think he should be looking to face Max Holloway next in the lightweight division. It just makes sense. I mean, Max Holloway is the BMF champ. Yeah, he just lost to Ilya Topuria, but you know, he beat Gaethje. That needs to be like his lightweight run. He's still like Gaethje recent win. So I think that number one contender fight, I think he's earned that now for Gaethje win. Number one contender fight against Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. Main event of pay-per-view any day of the week. Can be a co-main event. I think co-main at this point. I don't think Holloway has earned... Like, I think co-main event's good with like a big title fight. Maybe this can be like... I know it might be too soon. By the way, I think Jones Aspinall can happen in May, April, June, July. One of those dates. But so maybe one of those dates, we can have Jones Aspinall main event, co-main event, Oliveira versus Holloway. That would be sick if they did that. But still, this is what should happen. And plus, Charles, you might say, he won't take this. He will. BMF title. I know he didn't really have the BMF awesome sick fight performance against Chandler, but he's usually a BMF. Alright, against Holloway, he would be a BMF. And Holloway has a win over him. So if Charles ever wants to recapture the world title, he must get this win back, I think. Like, I know it was a bullshit win. Like, I know he had like a blood clot and he was on the floor and he nearly died the first time, but you know, I think it's still a loss. Still a win technically for Max Holloway. So I say you do this. Holloway versus Oliveira. Oliveira has like a swollen face. He showed that after the Chandler fight. And Holloway needs time to bulk up to lightweight. So I think you should just do this. Oliveira, Holloway too. We move on here. Michael Chandler lost. But had a great performance. No, he didn't. He didn't have a good performance. He looked like shit. Round 5 he had a good moment, but other than the back of the head shots, Chandler landed what? A decent shot on Oliveira? Another decent shot? That's it? Whole highlight for the whole fight? Got dominated for 4 rounds. I think he should face Paddy Pimblett. Now, this could just happen now, and I wouldn't mind. But I think Pimblett needs to get a win. Chandler will be number 9-ish. Pimblett, I think, should fight Moicano. Now, Moicano's face can also be here. Moicano's face can also be here. Moicano's face can also be here. I just said that 3 fucking times. But I think Pimblett would beat Moicano. It's not official. If they did, I think... Oh, this is annoying, this fucking fight. Pimblett Moicano should happen. It probably will happen next. And I think Pimblett would beat Moicano, in my opinion. So it could, if Moicano wins that, he can get this fight. But if Pimblett wins, which I think would happen, Pimblett versus Chandler, and Pimblett will be around number 10, and Chandler will be number 9. I don't think anything else really is simple. I mean, I think Chandler McGregor's off until Chandler gets a fucking win. I know McGregor needs to get a win too, but it's McGregor. He's the boss in this situation. So I think he needs to fight a prospect for once, and this would be reasonable. If it's Moicano, big fight, Moicano will probably shit talk. And if it's Pimblett, that's just a massive fight. And winnable for Chandler. So, we'll see. We move on. Bo Nickel won against Paul Craig. really bad performance. Really, really bad performance. I think you should do him against, he won, though. He won against Paul Craig. Good win, though, but he didn't look good. So, I was thinking if he beat Paul Craig round 1 KO, got a good showing. I thought, you know what? Maybe Paulo Costa. Let's see what happens. But in hindsight, that's a terrible matchup for Bo Nickel, in my opinion. Roma Dolidze, probably a bit of a bad matchup for him. So I'd say a reasonable. You can't baby feed him ever again. Alright? You can't go back to the Val Woodburns, the Cody Brundages. Alright? So I'd say you do him against Yun Park. I think this is reasonable. Yun Park is respected. You know, he is good. He'll never be a champion or anything, but he is good. Trainable in the feet, so if Nickel improves on those hands and works on the boxing, he can maybe sleep Park and Young in the first round. But I don't know. I think it's a tricky one for Bo Nickel. But I think that'll help him more. Paul Craig was supposed to be a walkthrough. That was supposed to be a walkthrough for Bo Nickel. I don't know. I do think Nickel would beat Yun Park. God, I hate when they switch their names around. Park Yun Young or Yun Park. But Yun Park, Iron Turtle himself versus Bo Nickel. Headliner or prelims? Maybe March pay-per-view. I want to see Bo Nickel active. So I say Bo Nickel, March pay-per-view. Or whenever Drickus is fighting. So maybe not in Australia, but whenever Drickus is defending his title, which will probably be in Australia, so never mind. But hopefully it's in somewhere else. Drickus defending his title against Chimaev on the prelim headliner. For the just storyline, Bo Nickel versus Yun Park. I think Nickel can win. You know, I know Park's on the ground, but I don't know. I think Nickel can improve. And this is just a decent test. We move on. Mauricio Ruffy got a win over James Luntop. Not the best of performances. Very competitive matchup. I think his next opponent should be Chris Padilla in the lightweight division. They both beat James Luntop. But again, you can't just baby feed this guy. No, this is more reasonable since Nickel's closer to the rankings. But this is you can't just put him against fucking Alexander Hernandez. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see him against someone decent, someone good, but beatable. And that's Chris Padilla, who is on a 2-fight winning streak, who is looking good. He beat James Luntop more impressively on short notice than Ruffy did when Luntop took it on short notice. I would go probably Ruffy still, but still, he's not great. I've never been really that high on him like I've had other Fighting Nerd members. So, he's good. Padilla is good. I know, what's his name? I know James Luntop missed weight for the Ruffy fight. But still, Ruffy, knock him out, But James Luntop's tough. But this is what you should do next. Ruffy, Padilla, let's go. We move on to Marcus McGee, who won against Jonathan Martinez. Good performance. I think his next opponent should be... Well, Martinez was number 13, so I think McGee should slip into that number 15, 14 range. And maybe 13 himself, and I think he should fight against... I don't want to see him against someone that's coming up. I want to see him against... I think he's ready for a test. The gatekeeper test now. This is kind of like the bantamweight gatekeeper. He had his own run. Then he lost to Aldo. Then he lost to Vera. So he wasn't ready for the belt. But I think now he's ready. But, now he's now kind of a gatekeeper. He just beat Kyler Phillips. It's Rob Font. This is like the test now, I think, for him. He looked great against Martinez, other than round 3 where he got his legs straight up, and then probably in a 5-rounder, Martinez would have gone on to win. For McGee in those first 2 rounds looked amazing, and I picked him to win as well. So I think you should do Marcus McGee against Rob Font. And I think McGee would score Rob Font. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna admit that to you guys. This can easily be a Fight Night main event, co-main event, a Fight Night in the Apex. I don't mind this. Font just beat Phillips, so you know he's still good himself. So Rob Font beat Yanez, beat Phillips. He's like kind of a gatekeeper in doing that. He's good. So Rob Font against Marcus McGee. I like this fight. I think McGee would win. I honestly think McGee is just a lot better than these guys. But good. I think leg kicks are the issue for him. But I think it's just Martinez because he's probably the best low kicker in the UFC. Although Aldo leg kicked him. Actually, no leg kicks were really landed in that fight. Aldo just simply outboxed him. But still, that's what you should do. We move on. Jim Miller won. Damon Jackson, as expected. I did really good on this card. The next one's going to be tricky, though. Yan and Figueiredo. Gotta research that after this. But, good performance. I'm sorry. He's close to the rankings at lightweight, Jim Miller. It is surprising because he's fighting guys like Damon Jackson, but I'm sorry. I just need to see this guy against one more guy, and I think Jim Miller could win. I'm sorry. For SEM. Just because he got 1 KO against Favola, where Favola did one mistake, doesn't mean this guy is just an all-out savage. He's good, really good, and I think he probably would beat Jim Miller, but this is what you should do. Sorry, I just need to do this fight. Jim Miller for SEM. Pay-per-view. Headliner of the prelims, or on the prelims of a pay-per-view. Co-main event of a Fight Night main card. Winner gets a ranked opponent. If it's Yam, yeah, but if it's Miller, sure, just give him one. It's Jim fucking Miller. So, yeah, this is what you should do. And, yeah, we move on. Marcin Tybura won on the prelims against Jonathan Diniz. Ruined his hype. I think his next opponent had a good win. I don't think any of the heavyweights coming up have earned, like, a Tybura fight. I know Diniz should have had it, but, like, Diniz was supposed to fight Derek Lewis. You know? He was supposed to fight Lewis, so they just gave him Tybura. I think, you know what? Tybura beat Diniz. He's beaten almost everyone. Got caught in an armbar by Spivak, whatever. Other than that, he's lost to the champ Aspinall. Let's see if Tybura's top shit. And let's see him against Curtis Blades. I think Blades would whoop him, but if he beats Blades, with the grappling especially, it'll be interesting. Blades should win this, though, and this is what you should do. Blades, Tybura. Tybura took no damage. Got dropped, but not really. So I think you should do this. Blades, boom. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace.